Howdy, 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 back at it again. Today's video going to go over Marisa's Season 3 Knockdowns and Oki. We're going to go through Light Dema, Medium Dema, Heavy Dema. As much as I can cover, we're going to do it today. We're going to look at auto time, manually timed, corner, mid-screen, all that fun stuff. Without further ado, let's get into the video. So I want to start off with Light Dema. This leaves us at plus 31, and we have a couple different auto-timed options. The thing that I like is this drive rush into charged heavy punch. So this will, in fact, beat mashing. Let's show that. Have him wake up with jab here. And then we can combo into back heavy punch into whatever extension or ender we would like. It will also catch jump out. And we can still combo into back heavy punch. So catches mashing, catches jump. What happens if they block? Well, then we're plus 8. Okay, so what do you do with that plus 8? Well, a couple different things. So first things first, we can just do a slight walk up into a throw, which is good. Obviously gets them to attack, makes them want to do something. You can frame trap with stand medium kick, stand light kick into Light Dema. That used to be a little consistent, but they reduced the pushback on her stand light kick. So this is more consistent as a combo now. So I think this is a better option than it used to be. You can also, if you want to leave no gaps, you just go into back heavy punch into like Gladius. Keep it as a block string, deals almost 2 bars of drive gauge damage, sets up a spacing trap. You're in business. If you know they're going to sit still, you can command grab. But you have to be careful because characters that have fast walk speeds can walk out of it. Some characters can't. Leave that up to your own testing at this point in time. Okay, so that's it for this option. What are the weaknesses of this? Well, the main one, of course, is just that it's susceptible to wake up perfect parry. Because it is, in fact, safe to drive impact. Right? Not that bad. Safe to DI. Beats jump, beats mash. We showed that. So, main thing there is it's just kind of weak to parry. So you're like, okay, what are my options to beat parry? And there's a couple things. So, first thing is we can manually time a command grab. Right? So then if they try to wake up with drive parry, boom, punish counter thrown, we're in a good spot, right? What other options do we have other than charge stand heavy punch and command grab? Okay, we can do drive rush into overhead. That ends up being +1 on block. So we get a little bit of a 50-50 between crouch jab and throw. Okay, and again, this overhead is done just immediately. The important thing to realize, though, is that this throw will lose to them mashing. You will get counter hit, which is why we need to be able to establish that we're going to do the strike option first. Okay, so the other thing that's kind of a newly good option this season is going to be drive rush into crouch medium kick. You do have to manually time this. The visual cue that I'm using right now is she takes this one big step. You see, like, she puts her right foot down at one point. That's when I hit down medium kick, right? And depending on what active frame you hit this on, it'll be anywhere from +2 to +4, okay? If it hits, right, and it will beat wake up buttons. So if it counter hits, whoops. If it counter hits, we can go into back heavy punch, you know, into whatever knockdown we like. If it hits normally, we should always be able to combo into medium punch. And then you can spend as much meter as you want to or don't want to. And then if it's blocked, we don't get as much as I would like, right? We're not in throw range. We are plus, but we're not in throw range. And while you can catch mashing with a crouch jab, it can be inconsistent as to whether or not that medium or the Light Dema at the end will combo. So it's kind of hard to extend off of it. What you can do if you know they're not going to match a light is you can go into stance or gladius, right? And then that should interrupt or punish them if they're mashing, right? So you can kind of look at it that way as well. Of course, the last thing you can do if you don't want to take a ton of risk is just drive rush into a regular throw, which is obviously going to beat mashing and parry. The next knockdown I want to look at is medium Dema. Leaves us at plus 36 and relatively close. So the very first auto-timed option I want to look at is going to be drive rush into charge towards heavy kick. So you'll see this will beat mashing, and you end up plus 16, so you can go into another towards heavy kick if you want. But really that's just choosing to do a tougher link for no extra damage. So I kind of like doing back heavy punch here just because it gives you a long time to kind of confirm it, right? And it doesn't lose any damage, right? You're just losing like a smidge of corner carry mid-screen. Not a big deal. Okay. If they try to jump, you're plus 14. Again, you can either go into towards heavy kick or back heavy punch. Choice is yours. On block, you're going to be plus 7. Okay, you are in throw range, but if I do this throw immediately, it'll whiff. So you actually need to delay it a little bit. Otherwise, you won't grab them. But if you do delay it properly, you'll beat their button. So it's a good setup. And then you can also set up trades with your stand medium kick into stuff like this, right? And against some characters, the advantage is going to be different. You'll probably be able to get back heavy punch versus some normals or others. That's up to you to experiment with. This does have an advantage over the charge towards heavy punch in that no one can walk back out of this. Okay, at plus, even though you're only plus 7, you're way closer, so you can force a command grab mix here a little bit. You have to be careful because, once again, if they mash a button when you're going for this command grab, it'll hit after your armor but before the grab comes out, so you do have to be careful. You can also do a fully charged overhead. That is also an auto-timed option. It's plus 6 on block, so you can like frame trap with back heavy punch. There's not a whole lot of other great things you can do here. I guess that's pretty tight. Obviously, they can mash in between. They can mash a DP after the second hit of the in between the hits of the target combo. But they're not reacting to that. That is a guess, so they're kind of taking their life in their own hands, just assuming you're going to keep pushing. So not entirely safe for them to do that. Of course, you can also do a manually timed command grab. My cue for this is like the cue for the crouch medium kick off of the light Dema, which is big step. That's when you input the command grab. Of course, you can also do a regular throw. You just have to manually time it correctly. Yikes. Okay, there we go. I can get it. And once again, the new option of drive rush crouch medium kick. So you have to let Marisa run here for quite a while. Kind of my visual cue is like when I'm right on their face, that's when I push it. Like when I'm just right next to them. Important to note though, you see there it says I'm -2. That's because I pushed down before I pushed medium kick. So you're at the point where the drive rush will end if you push a button. So you have to push the down and medium kick at the same time if you want to get this. Okay. I do like this though because a lot of times when you run this far up in their face, they're going to think you're going to want to command grab them. So that's good because against jump, of course, we're plus 7 and we can combo into stand medium punch. Lastly, we can bait a drive reversal by doing a heavy Superman punch and then just holding back. This will catch wake up buttons into plus 47. It'll catch wake up jump. Okay. And on block, it's plus 7. So you can continue to kind of pressure with stuff like this. or this. And that actually sets up a spacing trap mid-screen. So let me show that. Crouching medium kick after blocking 4 things. So if I do this correctly, I can do something like that. So you have some pretty decent options from medium Dema. The next knockdown I want to look at is command grab. So mid-screen, this doesn't really give you too much. You can lock them down with like a drive rush stand medium punch. So if they try to mash, you can get them. What you'll notice here is you're kind of far away, and your advantage is going to depend on the button. You can usually do crouch medium punch drive rush, but that's kind of an expensive spend. So I prefer to just kind of do this if I think that they're going to mash, just kind of commit to doing that. And if I get blown up for doing the target combo, I get blown up for doing the target combo. My main thing is just I don't want them to get out for free, because again, this will also catch jump out. So you just confirm into this, into medium Dema. If they jump, you can also, if you don't care about trades, you can do drive rush into stand medium kick, but you can see full screen. Or you can see, excuse me, mid screen. Your ability to combo off this is going to vary depending on the normal you trade with, so it's really going to be character dependent. Here I have Akuma doing stand light punch, but if I have him do crouch light punch, for example, like there, I'm only plus 12. So this doesn't work anymore. I'm not in range for back heavy punch, so if I want to convert off of it, I need to do like a stand heavy punch, which again is a conversion, but your mileage will vary depending on what you trade with. This used to be a very good thing to do, is this walk up into charge sweep. Not because it's a meaty, but because if they hold backwards, if they like are just trying to walk out, you'll trigger proximity guard. But because of the change to sweep knockdowns in this patch, they can back recover this. You used to just get like a command grab here, and now they can just back recover and they don't take that mix mid-screen. So it's nowhere near as good as it used to be, just because the Oki afterwards is kind of dead. So mid-screen, she doesn't get much. In the corner after command grab, she also doesn't get a bunch of new setups, but she does get a few new things. Most notably that I like is she can do this charged heavy punch. And if they wake up with a button, this will either trade, and you're always plus enough to do this. And obviously if you're playing against Akuma, I think you can probably kill for 1 bar here now. Not quite. Okay. Or if you're a little bit late, you'll often like get a whiff punish on it, and then of course you can combo into that again. If they try to jump, they'll get flipped out, and then you can either go for this, or if you're quick, you can do like stand medium punch to reset, and that can be kind of tricky. And then on block, you're plus 4. Okay, so you can kind of harass with stuff like this, or you can just wait for a parry and try to walk up and throw them. Or this also, once again, sets up that spacing trap idea. So if they try to mash crouch medium kick, they get blown up, right? That's the idea. Next, I want to talk about heavy Dema and all the different follow-ups. So I want to start by doing nothing and just empty jumping. So here we're plus 13, which is really good for us because it allows us to do a stand medium kick, which ends up being plus 1 on block. And that is safe to wake up drive reversal. Obviously pretty strong. This is even better than it was last season, where it was already pretty good, because now we can actually complete this combo. And we couldn't do that. Last season, that would not connect. And now we can actually convert. So we actually can kind of force them to not want to mash here, which is obviously pretty strong. You can also do empty jump into command grab, and that will in fact beat wake up buttons. Right? You can also do a towards heavy kick, Whoops. And you can drive rush cancel it. And that'll give you a big combo on hit. And a mix up on block. So if I have him jab here, you'll see if I do command grab there, it catches mashing. And then I can also do like a delayed stand medium kick to catch mashing or jump out. Right? So, or if you just want to keep things tight, you can do towards heavy kick into like Gladius for the drive gauge damage and the spacing trap setup. Okay, so that's it for the empty jump options. What else can we do after heavy Dema? Well, there's also overhead, which leaves us at plus 41 and sets up a pseudo safe jump. I say pseudo safe jump because it will work against OD reversals. That's on block, excuse me. It'll work against ODDPs, but it will not work against light DPs. So you do have to be a little bit careful about that. I think I can count on like one hand the amount of times I've been light DP'd on this setup. People generally don't know it. They just go, oh, it's a safe jump. And it sort of isn't. Okay. If this manages to hit for some reason, like if they're jumping out or something, the worst that it can be if you do this late, right, which you should be doing, pushing it as late as possible, is plus 10. So you're always able to combo into back heavy punch, which is a pretty significant amount of damage. On block, you are always plus 7, so you can make this be a block string. You can go into this, or you can go back heavy punch into like Gladius for kind of maximum drive damage. You can, of course, also set up a command grab that they can't walk out of, but again, you're plus 7, so be careful if they mash like a 4-framer, you will get hit there. You'll also be able to get thrown if they tech. Okay, so that's sort of it for the safe jump. I just do want to show real quick. Most people probably know this by now, but this will cross them up if they rise in place, but none of the frames or anything change at all. The next option I want to look at from heavy Dema is this charged heavy punch, just doing one of them. There's a number of kind of options we can go for here that I think are fairly strong. So plus 47 means we can forward dash and charge towards heavy kick. We're plus 3, so we can just throw immediately if they block. And we'll catch them. We can also frame trap with stand light kick, or excuse me, with stand light punch into whatever ender, spend how much ever meter you would like to spend. So that's good. We can also do a, actually let me show this on hit real quick. Okay, you're going to be able to link into back heavy punch, and that's true if they jump out as well. Right, so good reward on hit, good reward on block. You also are close enough now to command grab here. Let me show that. And they still can't walk back out of it. Okay. But it's actually maybe a little better at plus 3 because your armor will trigger if they mash jab, right? If they mash low, you'll lose, right? Even something like a crouch medium kick, right? But if they mash like their fastest normal, your armor will trigger. So it's maybe a little better even off the non-driver version. Okay, what else can you do here? Well, there's not a lot else that you can do that's auto-timed, but there's a lot of manually timed stuff that I think is very strong and has some merit. So the first thing is drive rush into low forward, right? Drive rush, crouch medium kick. You just kind of have to wait till you're right in their face again. Boom, in their face, hit it. Boom, in their face, hit it, right? And again, that's strong because of the changes to parry, so that you're forcing them to guess high or low. And you can mix that with either drive rush into stand medium kick that's slightly delayed, or drive rush into a crouch medium punch that's going to have like the same timing as the crouch medium kick. So like, boom, they're in their face. You're in their face, okay? And if they mash on this, you counter hit into back heavy punch. You counter hit into back heavy punch, right? So it just gives us more options, okay? Same thing if they jump out. Whoops. Into stand medium punch. Right? They jump out. Into stand medium punch. So we get the same combo no matter if we go for crouch medium kick or crouch medium punch, but they have to parry them differently. Seems pretty good. You can also do a slight delay on a command grab. And you can grab their button as well. So that sort of makes it scary for them to try parry at all, even if, you know, like, oh, well, I can get a perfect parry on the crouch medium punch and, you know, get a regular parry on the crouch medium kick. Well, you can still command grab there and make the parry scary too. Okay, so that's going to just about do it for the charged heavy punch follow-up from heavy Dema. The last heavy Dema situation I want to look at is what I think is kind of the bog standard answer, which is drive rush back heavy punch into heavy Superman punch. There's really only a couple of options here that are really strong, but I like drive rush dash into drive rush crouch medium punch is good. Plus 11 on counter hit, so we can always combo into back heavy punch, even if they jump out because this hits meaty. I'm terrible. No execution. There we go. Right. So it always combos into back heavy punch. And that is also the same thing for drive rush crouch medium kick. It will always combo into back heavy punch, whether it hits counter hit or regular hit. Really strong. And again, they have to parry those things differently. The especially strong thing, though, is that this drive rush crouch medium punch ends up being safe to drive reversal. So they can't really feel comfortable doing that either. Of course, characters with a DP can, on reaction to this drive rush, DP. So this is more of a setup against characters that lack an invincible reversal, or against people that you don't think are very DP happy. The next setup I want to look at is from OD Dema. We do drive rush towards heavy kick target combo, and then jump medium punch. This is a plus 34. Nothing really changed here from Season 2, Season 2.5, but it's kind of my baby setup, so I just want to include it in this video. So, primary things you want to do are either walk forward and just manually combo throw, which, as you can see, beats wake up buttons. Or as soon as they land, you want to charge this towards heavy kick, which is plus 4 on block, and is also going to allow you to get a throw. You'll just have to like walk for like a single frame and you'll be fine. And of course that will also catch wake up buttons, wake up jump, whatever. We are finally to corner situations. So first things first, off a medium punch target combo, you should never go into medium Dema when you're in the corner. You should always go into Gladius. They have the exact same frame advantage. The only drawback is mid-screen. Gladius pushes them way over there, where medium Dema keeps them close. In the corner, obviously, that isn't an issue. So what do we do with plus 36 here in the corner that we can't do mid-screen? Because all the mid-screen stuff will still work. Well, the main thing are going to be frame kills, right? So first things first, let's look at what I think is the strongest new option that, quite frankly, is pretty ridiculous. So we withstand light punch as a frame kill. Now, that has historically set up some good stuff for us because it lets us do like a manually timed command grab or a chargeback heavy punch, right? And that chargeback heavy punch is going to catch mashing and combo into towards heavy kick for a buttload of damage. But now we actually have something off of this frame kill that is even better because they changed the frame advantage on our crouch light kick. So on block, this is plus 3. That's no different. So that means we get a throw. Okay. But if it hits, on counter hit, that's now plus 10. So we can combo into back heavy punch. That's 28% meterless off of a crouch light kick, right? And if they try to like jump out, because, you know, we could also do that. We could also do like a command grab here, right? It's plus 8. And we can still combo into back heavy punch, right? 28% off of a crouch light kick, meterlessly. And like optimally, you know, like maximally, you know, that's 55% almost off of a crouch light kick, which is pretty tremendous, okay? But the fun doesn't stop there, right? Because if they drive reversal on wake up, wouldn't you know it, of course, that's also safe against wake up drive reversal. But remember how I showed we could throw there? Well, we can also shimmy. And I'm not talking about shimmying delay tech. We can just hold back and shimmy an immediate throw. GG's, shake my hand. From a crouch light kick, are you kidding me? So we're +3. This is like, Marisa actually gets to play like Street Fighter 6 here. You know, strike, throw, shimmy, baby. This setup is ridiculous. Obviously, weakness, you're only +17 on this drive rush. So if they DP, you can't block it. You can do some kind of insane things, like drive rush DI, or slightly less insane, drive rush OD Gladius, right? So obviously this is going to lose to wake up throw, but it should be wake up button. It is going to get neutral jump pretty hard, okay? It's not super susceptible to perfect parry because it hits so late, but again, if they do wake up throw or jump, which again, they certainly have incentive to do that, you're losing 3 bars and you probably got back thrown and it's not that good. But if you're just, you know, calling out a DP, I promise you will feel like a genius if you do that. Okay, I promise you, you will feel like a genius if you do that. Okay, what other corner situations do we have? Well, we can, of course, do a safe jump with the charged heavies. And then they're +18 on block. So you can frame trap with the charge back heavy punch. Or you can do a regular one and just do it towards heavy kick. That's also fine. Last corner situation I really want to look at is off of forward throw. So we're +23. We can do drive rush into throw for that kind of metered throw loop idea, right? So if we time it correctly, we grab them and we force them to attack. We can also do drive rush into immediate stand heavy punch, right? And even on a regular hit, that will combo into back heavy punch because we hit on the second active frame. It also means that if they just block it out, we're +2. And if we do throw immediately, we are in range. We can also, once again, just hold back and shimmy them, which is obviously pretty strong. Or, of course, we can frame trap with either strike or throw. Okay, so this was obviously not comprehensive, right? There's other knockdowns we could look at, and we'll probably put out videos in the future examining some of those things. But for now, I think that's going to get a lot of y'all started at the start of Season 3. Hopefully this is helpful. As always, have a good time.